Let's now go across to the management at Endurance Tech. ED and CEO Mr. Ramesh is now with us. Sir, there has been a lot of question about the European business considering, gas price hike or the energy price that have gone up. It's an important component, maybe small, but the price hike has also been particularly high. Can you just talk to us about that and what essentially it means for the company?
Can you please repeat your question because you were not audible in between?
Right. What does the impact of Europe's slowdown, energy, gas prices, what does it mean essentially for the company and the auto ancillary sector?
Yeah, see, first of all, good morning, everyone. The impact of energy prices and all going up is, first of all, that the demand reduces. The OEMs are continuously, new car registrations are continuously dropping. And very obviously, when the prices go up, you can see a lower demand. But the electric vehicles are still selling. High-end vehicles are still selling because they're not facing those earlier semiconductor issues and all. That's not happening these days. But yes, the demand is on the lower side. So as of now, we can't say that when this, the conflicts over there at Ukraine are going to be over. But the gas prices, energy prices do have an impact on the industry.
What's the impact on your own business? Have you seen a sharp decline in your order inflows and bookings? Because I understand Bajaj Auto, which is one of your key clients, is also facing a lot of international geography challenges, especially in Africa as well, apart from Europe. So what's the impact on your business?
See, these are geopolitical issues. You may find, some spikes coming in from here and there of the world. So we should not be really worried about that because these are temporary setbacks for any industry. I'm sure as the things ease out over there in other parts of the country, the volumes will come back. Because once you've already established a base in a country, there is no reason why you can be dropping down unless until a situation like Sri Lanka happens where the country itself is in an economic crisis.
Good morning. The other thing to ask you about is that, there's been globally a lot of chat about growing green, ESG, the high entry barriers. So before you just came on the channel, a few minutes ago, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, speaking at a public event, is now saying that India has also received a jolt. It'll have to go back more and rely more on fossil fuels. So when we hear these kind of statements also coming in from the Central Exchequer, how should the viewers be seeing this? On one end, we keep hearing that EV is the future, we have stall targets, but there are supply chain issues, there is a global energy shock at play too.
See, this is a very good question. And I would like to tell the viewers that, and I've been saying this before also, EV segment is going to be evolving. There are many more changes that are going to happen. The vehicle configuration will change. The best of technology is going to come into play. The best of configurations from sub-suppliers are going to come into play. The infrastructure has got to improve and so on. So you'll keep on facing these challenges, but that doesn't mean that something is going to stop. Once you've already embarked on a path of EV, nothing is going to stop it. It's only a matter of time, a couple of years plus and minus, you will always find that the space will come in between. You can also observe that some of the market is growing as far as EV is concerned. And there is a kind of acceptability which is coming in for EV vehicles. But again, it's a bit too expensive and people will be having some large mass will be having a wait and watch situation also.
So you're saying that there will be a wait and a watch situation. What does that mean for your business as well? If you were to look at your business, how much importance are you giving therefore to EVs? Is that something maybe you scaled up in the last few years and now you're having to trim down? Once again, I'm asking this question, just asking because of the way the industry has been evolving. There's so much chat about safety standards. We've dealt with high heat. Now we're dealing with rains in Bengaluru. All of that must be having an impact.
As I said, EV is a platform which is yet to evolve. There will be change in the configuration of the vehicles. As far as endurance is concerned, we started a bit late on EV intensification. Now we are already on board. In Q1 itself, we had an order book of 484 crores, out of which 110 crores was EV itself. We've booked in large orders for brakes, for suspension, and for castings. So we are on the job. We are on the EV platforms on many of the places with many of the OEMs. I don't see any looking back, and neither do I see any impact on our business because we are largely into IC engines, where we are pretty strong with our penetration levels and customer acceptances. So as the product levels change from IC to EV, we'll also progress in the same percentage, or you can say in the same speed and intensification. I see absolutely no reason to be worried right now, because it's not impacting endurance business right now. It's only an additional part of the new business.
Right. So, one is, of course, the geopolitical issues. As you mentioned, that they will continue, it will evolve, EVs will evolve. But one thing that is in your hand is your raw material costing. Now, raw materials have seen a sharp decline and then a sharp revival. Basically, it's been very, very difficult to plan and predict for it, either which ways. How are you maintaining your margins in this current scenario? Because client also pays, a lot of clients also pay on a fixed basis, or it sometimes takes time to pass on any changes that happen, and moves have been quite volatile. So how are you managing this scenario?
Yeah, that's a good question. See, commodity prices, when they change, a bit of turbulence does happen. A bit of turbulence is probably a bit too heavy word. A bit of ripples do happen in the system. But as far as our relations, or this thing formulas with the customers are, it's a straight back-to-back arrangement with our customers, and a straight pass-through with our suppliers. There can be a lag of spot purchases that we keep on doing in between, where customers don't address the spot increases. But to run the lines and all, it is very important, critically important for us to ensure that we've got the raw materials required for our production in place. And as and when we progress in our commodity discussions with the customer, they do get addressed in one way or the other, through a lag, or even on a quarterly basis. There is no major impact except for an arithmetic effect, which is seen on the balance sheet. As the commodity prices go up, the RMC also goes up, and you see margins compressed. But truly speaking, it's only a mathematical expression of what you see on the balance sheet, which shows that okay, the margins are compressed. But otherwise, in absolute terms, I think we're still fairly good on our cash generation.
Robust on the cash generation. Also wanted to get a sense regarding some of your new products that is being pegged as the growth driver in the medium term, and I'm talking about drive shaft, non-auto castings, e-powertrain products as well. Could you talk to us a bit more about what kind of scalability do you expect in these verticals?
Yeah, see, there are many actions that we have taken in the past which are going to yield more revenues and more profits, and probably a better expansion in our customer base. Drive shaft is one of the products that we introduced mainly to be increasing our penetration level into three-wheelers and a bit of four-wheelers also. And that's a segment where we probably are seeing that the up move is there. We've already received the SOP. We've already received the schedules for this coming month, and here onwards we see a fairly good offtake. As far as the other new products are concerned, we can talk about brakes, we can talk about suspension. All our product verticals are seeing an up move as far as new product development and new product wins are concerned. Brakes is the most, where we've increased our capacities from 275,000 hydraulic brake assemblies to 550,000 brake assemblies per month, and the disc being increased to 650,000 discs per month. Now that's a huge up move and a huge investment that we have already made, largely on account of the new business wins that we have had, and largely on account of the expansion that is happening in this segment. As far as the suspension is concerned, the inverted front forks and all are gaining traction, and we are probably one of the leading and dominant players in the inverted front forks and monoshocks, where we see a complete change in configuration happening on the vehicle in the coming years. And we are pretty optimistic about our position in these high-end bikes.
So before we let you go, we're talking a few days after that very tragic accident which took the life of Mr. Cyrus Mistry and others when they were driving to Mumbai. A lot is being now spoken about seat belts at the back. Mr. Nitin Gadkari has said it's going to be made mandatory. A lot of people have seen those images of the airbags that don't work if you're not wearing seat belts. We read a lot about that. There's been a lot of chatter as well in the last couple of months. Do we need airbags in entry-level cars? Should they be at the back as well? Would love to get your comments on this, and also on ground from the automakers when they're placing their orders, the importance that they're paying to safety.
Well, first of all, my deepest condolences for Mr. Cyrus Mistry. He was a good leader for the industry, and it's a huge loss for the industry. As far as safety aspects are concerned, we all have been hearing this, or we all have been matured enough to understand that safety provisions in the car have got to be respected. If a person sitting at the back or for that matter, anyone who sits at the back is not wearing a seatbelt, the risk factor is there, because the impacts which are there on a head-on collision or something are huge, and a person can lose his life, and that's exactly what happens. As far as safety is concerned, on vehicles, entry-level passenger cars, I'm saying, why only entry-level passenger cars? The safety norms have got to be increased high and high for every vehicle, and as much as we can, because a simple accident can also take away a life. The products that we get onto a vehicle are extremely critical to save people, and safety is, I think, probably the most important thing on a vehicle.
Okay, with that, sir, thank you so much for joining us live today on the show. If you look at Endurance Tech, year to date is giving negative returns, but in the last 6 months, certainly been in focus. That intraday chart, the hot board will also come up for you. As you can see, Endurance Tech in the last 6 months, how it has entered the fast lane. Today, the stock trading along the flat line.